Hey, and welcome back to the channel. So I've been busy. I've been working on some projects. I haven't been doing good about getting stuff recorded. I did get the Mustang all repaired, and so she got the replacement bumper all prepped and painted. I also did a replacement fender instead of trying to replace that other one. Did pretty good. You can tell looking at it that it's just a little bit lighter. You can see it right there in certain lights, but overall it's pretty good and I'm happy with it. So she's at least not, she at least doesn't have a fat lip anymore, so I'm happy about that. And I would like to present to you the next project. I've already tore into it, unfortunately, but Project Slamalon is underway. So I went ahead the other day while I was feeling motivated. I took the front wheels off, tore out the front suspension, and we are going to be installing these bad boys. So these are Truhart coilovers. These are the backs. These are the fronts. And here they are. So the one common problem with these first gen Avalons is the suspension. They essentially used Camry suspension, and it's just not adequate for these things. The cars are heavier and longer, and so you just have issues with it. And so the shocks and struts were out on this thing, and my fix is going to be coilovers. I picked these up. I got a really good deal off of Marketplace on them. They're brand new, never been installed. I went ahead and I did adjust the front ones already. What you want to do is you want to make sure they're identical from side to side. I do want to make this car pretty low. I mean, it is the Slamalon. So I just adjusted them a little over halfway down, but I made sure that the lower mount adjustment was the same. I made sure the distance between the locking nuts was the same, and that the preload on the spring was the same. I did leave the preload pretty loose on these. You can actually get them to wiggle just a little bit if you squeeze them. So anyway, let's get at it and get the Slamalon slammed. Okay, so I just went through the whole spiel and realized that I was not on video, so I get to do it all again. But I got the coilover in here with the 3 bolts on the top. These 3 just kind of snug down. And obviously the strut's going to sit a lot higher in the wheel well than the factory strut. All of that's pretty straightforward. They even give you a notch right here, I think, to clip your ABS line into. But I need to figure out how to mount my brake line. They do mention these. These came in the kit. There's 4 of them there. And they mentioned that you can use these for a universal application, but for the life of me, I can't figure out where to mount this end. Obviously, you want to have it mounted to the strut, the articulating part, because it goes up and down, and not the body. But the hole is too small to fit over the strut bolt. And so I can either cut off the end and just sandwich it in there in between the bolt and the strut, or I don't know, figure something out. But that's exactly what we're gonna have to do. So we're gonna keep at it and figure it out as we go. All right, don't mind the messy hair. I think I've come up with 2 options. There's the dogs. And here are our 2 options. Either take and wallow this thing out, or cut the end off it to where I can wedge it in between this upper strut bolt right there. If I decide I want to hold the camera right. Camel. Okay. Or I take this bolt for the caliper right here, take it out and put it behind that bolt, have it come up, do a little bendy jobby in this way, and then do a little bitty bendy jobby up and put them right about where they're supposed to be. I'm kind of thinking I like this idea best, so let's zip that thing out and see if we can get us a bracket built. All right, we're back and we have a bracket. So what I got made up here is our bracket. It started out as a flat piece and I just put some bends in it. I know it's not the most professional looking, but it's okay. So this is going to go right in there, and that bolt just goes, man, this is hard to do. Anyway, the bolt goes right into this end, just like that. And then the back side of this just goes right up against there. I also, while I was bending everything up, I put these two little ears on the end of the piece, and that, my thought behind that was that there's a little rib, if you look right here. And so with that, those bent corners, hopefully that will keep the bracket from rotating and spinning and making it touch the coilover, or worse, the wheel. So let's throw that in and we'll see how it looks. All right, here is the finished product. So by no means my best project, but it works. So I think this is how they intended the brake line to go, or intended to use this bracket for the brake line to just go through there. But I just zip tied the bracket to the other bracket like the way they have stock, and this is just the ABS sensor. I'm not all that worried about it, but everything's in here and held together. It's still got wiggle room. The brake line goes through an actual bushing, so that has a little wiggle and it should be good to go, at least for now. So we're running out of daylight now. I got this one side in and at least set up enough to try and get it adjusted, and check it out. Ooh, she's gonna be low. There's almost no wheel gap there as it sits, and it's still in the air. So I think I might end up having to go up a little bit, because with these tires that I have on there, there's just a little bit of poke, and you can see it right there. So don't think that they'll clear the fenders, but I'm gonna get another set anyway, and knowing this, I can get the right tires for it. So we'll pick back up with this tomorrow. Just hit it a little bit every day. I only got so much time every day to do it, so just plug away a little bit at a time and she'll be slammed before long. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. We are back at the Avalon again. So yesterday got the coilover in on this side. I'm really not happy with that, how I did that bracket, and so I think I'm gonna have to adjust these up a little bit, because I imagine it'll settle a little bit. So when I do that, I might change the bracket on that side, but for now we are going to work on filling this space up with a new coilover. Let's get it done. Oh boy, it's hot out here. I'm sweating, but this bottom strut bolt is whooping my butt. So much so that I got impatient and started screwing up the threads on my bottom bolt, but I did chase them and they're looking better. I think it needs to go, if you look in here, you can see it needs to go in a little bit and up a little bit. I've tried jacking it up with the jack, and the top bolt's in, but this bottom one's just been giving me problems. So what I think I need to do is shave a hair of the bracket right there off. If you look close, it's clear up against this little ridge on the knuckle. And so I think if I clearance the bottom of the strut just a little bit, then it'll allow us to line up. So it's time for the old slice and dice. Well, after some struggle, some fighting, I won. And we got coilover on, got the wheel on. I am really thinking that it's going to be too low. If you look, this side doesn't poke like the other side did. Huh. I don't know. Let's lower her down and see how she looks. All right, here we go. So let's bring her down. All right, it's going. Okay. Just want to keep an eye on this wheel over here. We're good so far. Let's see what happens. Whew. Oh, she ain't quite got all the weight off of her yet, but ooh, look at that. Just wanted to check my tie rod ends because I didn't hook them up. So just want to make sure they're not binding up against anything. This side's good. And this side's good. Let's take her the rest of the way. Oh boy. We gotta see if that's touching the fender. It's not. You can't even fit one finger in there. Wow. How's this side look? Yeah, this side fits a little better. For some reason, it seems like the wheel is just a bit more inside on this side. Because this is nice. That looks good. Well, let's see if it goes down anymore. Alright, I think that's it. And the jack is wedged on the core support, so I'm gonna have to jack it back up and put some wood under the tires, but I was just chomping at the bit to see what it looked like. Oh boy, it ain't touching, but it is close. All right. Yeah, more low. Well, she looks good. I definitely like it. I like the low, but she'll probably have to come up a little bit. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Oh yeah, living the low life. We're back at it again, and today we are starting on the rear coilover. So I got the wheel off and sprayed everything out. There was a bunch of cobwebs and stuff, and doused everything that's got to come apart in PB Blaster. Gotta let that set up a little bit. You want to take off the sway bar end link, and I believe that is it's either a 12 or a 14, and then you've got to take out these two bolts for the bracket for the brake line and the ABS sensor, and then you've just got the two large bolts. One's here and then the other one's right down there. Take those two out, slide the bolts out, and then you've got three bolts that are on the inside of the car for the top of the strut. You have to take out the rear seat, so the bottom just has three clips. You pull up on the front, get those three clips out, you can slide the bottom out, and then there's four bolts that go right here. There's two 12s on the outside edges here, and then there's two 14s that go right there. Take those out, and then this whole thing you pull out on the bottom, then slide up on the whole thing, and you can pop the rear seat loose. And then our three bolts for the upper strut mount are right there, and then I'll be taking those out last and then slide the whole thing up. All right, we got the coilover in. This side fought me. The end link for the sway bar ended up being really rusted, and it ended up freezing up, and couldn't get the nut off. So I ended up just leaving the end link with the factory strut, and I just went and picked up a new end link. So that solved that issue. Now I put these in, and I had them adjusted a little less than halfway down, and they were way too low. I couldn't even get the wheel in here. It was so high up. So I adjusted them down almost an inch and locked it in. I'm gonna try that out and put it on the ground and then adjust from there. Now I did elect to bend up the little flat brackets that they give you in the kit, and I bent this one like this, and it's going to actually attach to the upper or the top lower strut bolt, and it'll go like this and curve over this way, and then it'll hold on to the brake line here. And then I'm going to take a bolt and just attach these two together, the ABS wire to the brake line, and then that'll keep all that together and out of the way. So let's get this together. We're running out of daylight. I may have to finish it up tomorrow.